throughout my life, I have really been a politician from childhood. When the mission came to Parker in the 40s, most of the young people went into mission schools. And the authorities were not happy. They wanted to close the mission schools. They wanted to either Islamize us. They wanted us to go to a different school like Yaki the Jahilchi. We had to fight back. And as a result of that, most of our young people supported Middle Zone. Middle Zone then was a party that was, helping the Middle Belt people against the NPC then. So we started with the Middle Zone. And of course we are small, but the big people amongst us were coming to Kilbal, coming to Gaia to learn about the Middle Zone, and they would go and tell us that this NPC are always using authority against us and against our parents. We should fight against them. So we grew with that feeling that we, the Middle Zone people, should fight against NPC who are using authority against our parents and against all of us. So when I came to Kilba, of course, that stopped for a while. But in Numan, I was also in leadership position, prefect of different things, as I mentioned earlier. In United States, I took part also in politics. I was a prefect in the dormitory, and I was supporting the Kennedy family. Robert Kennedy then was running and so forth, and we were the people supporting Robert Kennedy until he was killed, assassinated. So from there, now when I returned, politics became natural. Some young people came from Mubi. One of them was John Chamia, another was Paul Luguja, Balataka, and the rest. They came and met me in 1972 in Hong, and they wanted us to form an organization to liberate our land, because the Fali, the Gude, and the Nzanyi are the indigenous people of Mubi. But we were not in the scheme of things. So we formed what was called Dama Association. That was 1972. And 76, then Gongola was created. And there was a election, non-political, non-party elections that was organized. So we decided to field our candidates. And all the candidates we fielded won. So that encouraged me. So after that now, when the Constituent Assembly came 1977-78, so we had one Ayuba Kadai who were contesting for the Constituent Assembly, and Professor Iya Abubakar also. So I had always respect for academic excellence. So for Professor Iya Abubakar, we worked for him to go unopposed from Mubi to Constituent Assembly. But for what is his name now? Ayuba Kadai. For Ayuba Kadai, he had a problem with Michika side. So I was one of those helping him to win. And so both Ayuba Kadai and Professor Iya Abubakar won, and they went for the Constituent Assembly. Unfortunately, religious issues developed there. That they wanted, they wanted Sharia to be supreme law of the country. That was not good for us. And I expected that those people I supported will not succumb to that type of thing. But many of them walked away from the Constituent Assembly that Sharia has to be supreme. And now we started meetings on that issue. I attended meetings in Plateau, in other places, and we decided, look, since we formed quorum, Odo Odoma should go ahead. And Odo Odoma went ahead, while a lot of things were being sorted out, but finally it was agreed that Nigeria should be just a secular state. Let religion be something that other group can practice. And that's how we got the best constitution, 1979. Now, with this, we wanted Ayuba Kadai to win as governorship. But unfortunately, the party was NPP then. The party in December 78 split. And Waziri Ibrahim added G to his own NPP. It became GNPP. Now the main NPP was left with Zik and other people. Now, we realized that we were outnumbered. I think for us to pursue NPP in northern part of this country was not fruitful. And that's why many of us ended up in GNPP. Now, since there was no, Ayuba Kadai has left us and gone to the NPP, so we had no candidate. And some people came to me and said, look, we want you to contest for governorship. You know, it was like a dream, but they insisted and I contested. In fact, in the morning I won. Because three of us contested, that was Barde, Gildegurum Pao, and myself. I was winning. And then when that happened, again, you know, a lot they say, how this is a young chap, how can that happen? And Waziri Ibrahim started calling people, asking them to vote for Gildegurum Pao, otherwise he will not give them money for campaign. So Alhaji Abba Namnai and Jalingo people protested. So Ibrahim Waziri then was taken away from that scene, and then we started afresh. We started new process of election. But then, because of so many campaign reasons, Barde beat me by 6 votes. And everybody, you know, PRP wanted to give me a ticket, and everybody was saying that no, but you know, all of them begged my supporters that since I was young, I should be a running mate to Barde. And that is how I became running mate to Barde.
How old were you then?
I was 35.
Wow.
Yes, it was just 35.
1979 election was very, very tough. Though many had no confidence that the military was actually going. But you won the election. How was it to be victorious? How did you receive the news of your victory? Could you paint a picture? Where were you when the news came?
Well, the victory was fantastic. It was a big surprise. But somehow, I never felt that we were going to lose. Anytime I prayed and went to bed, I had peace of mind. You know, and we did a lot of work. I traveled on bicycle, on foot. I traveled to different communities and so forth. And the secret of our victory was because of Sardauna province. Sardauna province, we have been, you know, looking for so many things, and we felt that we were not getting what we wanted because Adamawa province was always depriving us of our rights. So I used that in Mombila, in Mubi, all over. But for Sardauna province, we wouldn't have won. But we use that to really mobilize our people to tell us this time, you know, our Sardauna province, if you vote for us, we are going to make sure that we get our right. And that is the one I did. And Mombila was 100% with me. And similarly with Mubi and other places. So in Sardauna province, there were only 2 constituencies that NPN won. All the other constituencies were won by GNPP. Only Madagali and Sorau. The rest of them all were GNPP. So we got some from Jalingo area, but most of it, you know, the areas like where we have the ethnic nationalities, for instance, the Kilba, the Numan area, the Gombe, and so forth. Also, with this, although we lost most of the central part here to NPN, with that, most of the votes coming from Sardauna, with the ones we got from Adamawa province, we won. That victory came when I was in Paka, because I voted there. So I just, after voting, it's not like that now where people go and surround you. You know, nobody even cared whether I was there or not. But I voted quietly and went back to my brother's house and sat down, you know. So we sat down waiting, and finally it was announced that GNPP won. And that is when people started coming to find out where I was, you know, to congratulate us, to do so many things. And, you know, during the campaign, I didn't even have a house to stay here. You know, anywhere you go, they will not allow you, give you a house. So I will just run around and so forth. And at night, I will go to Ati Urucha's house in Karewa, and then just get a mat and lie down there. And that is how I campaigned throughout. I didn't even have a house.
How many political parties and who were the candidates?
Well, there were about 5 political parties then. You know, you have the NPN, and the candidate was Ahmadu Ribaru. We had the UPN. The candidate was Philip Maken. And then we had the NPP. The NPP, still the candidate was still Ayuba Kazai, although he was not seen. And then you have the GNPP. The candidate, of course, was Barde and myself. And then you had the PRP. PRP, I can't remember. I think the candidate was either, I can't remember the candidate now, either Salihu or somebody. So these were the candidates, the 5 political parties we had.
During campaigns, you made a lot of promises to people. Now you've won election. In 1979, 1st October, you and Barde were sworn in as first civilian governors and deputy governor of Old Gongola State. Now you began working to fulfill the promises you made to people. What were those promises you made to people, and what were you able to do during the time of your stay as a governor and deputy governor of Old Gongola State at that time?
Well, we made promises, and I'm happy to say that we really fulfilled them. You cannot fulfill promises in maybe even 10 years complete. But if you start something and you advance it, it means you have fulfilled your promises. As I mentioned to you, our strength was the rural people. You know, the Talakawas, the villages, these are the people that voted for us. These were the people who fed us. These were the people who fueled our vehicles. And we made promises that we were going to make sure that they get the dividends of democracy. So when we were sworn in, the number one thing that we did was rural development. Rural development was the first thing that we embarked upon. To do that, we felt that each constituency should get not even one thing, but more than one. And that would be, they should get schools, they should get dispensary or health clinics, and then they should get roads. Now the question is, how are you going to do all these things? Where will you get money to do them? So we sat down and worked out something, saw what was there for us and how we can improve upon them. Now, with the schools, the only way we could do that was to start day secondary schools. So we made sure that almost every constituency we cited a day secondary school. Now, what was the next thing that was important? There was a program, I think it's a World Bank program, about these health clinics. When we came in, it was only Song and Gombe that were earmarked for about 10 of them. So we decided, no, this thing should not just be concentrating in 1 or 2 local governments. Every constituency should have at least one. And so 63 constituencies then, not 25 now, it was 63 constituencies. Every constituency we cited a health clinic there. And then we cited also a day secondary school. Now, the next thing is how to get the roads. Now we decided to call the contractors who were assigned these day secondary schools and clinics. So we say, look, you have to know how to build this thing. We are giving you 1 year to do something about it. So what happened now? These contractors had to make a road to the site where they had to build. And they had to cut the wood. Their tippers have to go in the dry season. So we made sure that it was done in the dry season because we came in October. And so by the time we finished this thing, it was already in December. So, they made the roads.